Here we go, here we go. Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you today is a best of 5 series of Terran versus Protoss. That is the finals of this week's ESL Open Cup for the South Korean server. It's a Terran versus Protoss. It will not be Dark versus Hero. It seems like Dark has not been making it to the finals in a few weeks now. Getting eliminated along the way, he's still playing. But anyway, spawning right here in the top left-hand corner in game number 1 on the map, Site Delta, playing with the Red Terran as CVs. You know him, you love him. We have none other than the Gumi God. GuMiho. I don't want to say he's necessarily my favorite Terran, because that means I'm... But I'm certainly a big fan of the way that the man approaches his games. Playing right here in the opposite corner, for some reason we have changed our portrait that is spinning around on the main nexus with the blue Protoss pieces. We're looking at Hero's main nexus. For a little bit there, he was running SOS, but apparently no longer. Nope. We're apparently... I don't remember the name of this lady, but this is one of the default portraits that you have available in StarCraft 2. Interesting. Yeah, claiming a favorite is always difficult. I think... Well, the way that GuMiho plays creative strategies, and he's such a big range to his playstyle, makes him my favorite at the highest level as far as that specific playstyle goes. But as far as like pure strength with Terran goes, I would probably say it's either Clem or Maru. Difficult call to say. But for very specific, if we're diving deep into calling out our favorites, GuMiho definitely is up there in one of the categories, maybe multiples. I always love watching GuMiho games, though, because he's one of the very few Terrans who's still playing battle cruisers, unironically, and who's actually, yeah, switching up the games quite a bit. He doesn't necessarily have the best micro, nor does he have the best macro, but he does certainly have some of the very best strategies out there, and I love watching it. Yeah. The other Terrans, they tend to play StarCraft 2 like it's an Excel spreadsheet. GuMiho, I mean, he knows the spreadsheet, but he burned it to the ground a long, long time ago. Plus, he also plays battle cruisers, right? I know I already said that, but battle cruisers? Maybe not so much against Protoss, but I do like big science fiction spaceships. Yeah. You can always make me happy with battle cruisers. Anyways, Twilight Council coming up right here for Hero. Nothing all too surprising, as we have a Marauder coming up right now for Gumi. This is a Reaper into a Marine into a Marauder. Interesting. What are we going to use the Marauder for? I'm assuming we will be going concussive shells, because that's really the only thing that makes sense. In the meantime, he is trying to... Don't lose that. Okay, well, that sucks. Jimmy just barely escapes here. Losing that actually does kind of suck. The Marauder will be able to push all of this away, and I guess as soon as a medevac is out, we will be sending it across. But already, this does create a bit of a funky opener. And early game TVP is very much so a skill check. If you make a bunch of mistakes, GuMiho can just straight up lose against a Blink Stalker opener. Very common. Oh, gets a Hellion too, not bad. So far, great value right here for just a single Adept. Now concussive shells is coming. It's gonna be a bit though until that Twilight Council upgrade is done. A robot facility also building at this point. Hero's got a shield battery inside of the natural expansion. He doesn't yet have one inside of the main base. I'm assuming we're just gonna make a whole load of gateways here. Yeah. So normally you play 4-gate Blink as an aggressive strat. I think he will still play it aggressively, but he will first use all of this production at home to defend. And then he'll probably try to capitalize. Okay. So. Here goes a very scrappy collection of units across the map. The early game GuMiho standard, where you basically just throw whatever you have inside of a hat, you shuffle it around, and then you fit whatever you can inside of the medevac, and then you attack with it. It's a little dangerous. Let's see if it pays off. Blink is finishing in, well, less than 10 seconds now. And I think that this attack is not really going to achieve too much, right? I mean, he's going to lose maybe 1 or 2 Stalkers. He could Blink right now. He really wants to get the medevac. We'll get the medevac, and there we go. I think he could have probably... only lost a single Stalker. That would have been doable, but ultimately still a very cost-efficient trade right now here for Hero, who normally doesn't really play 4-gate Blink Stalker against somebody like Gumi very frequently, but I think in this particular Yeah, this particular instance, it's really good. We should probably see a third base as well in a moment if he wants to be. You know, playing a bit of a macro game. If he doesn't, it's gonna turn into a very quick all-in. Might just be enough though, to be honest. There's only a single siege tank available at this point in time. It's right over there. Hero knows where it's located. He could just bypass it altogether. Obviously, he can blink from here into the main base too. Second siege tank is out. I think he's gonna commit. Oh, well, he's blinking into literally the most dangerous area of the map. Loses the prism there in the process too. Decides to split fire the... Oh, God. Oh, that was so bad. He decided... Okay, he wanted everything and he ended up getting nothing. Yeah. This is that one instance where in StarCraft 2, greed is not good. I think that fight could have gone better for him, but he lost everything there, and he ultimately did kill the siege tanks, but that took a very long time. That was a disaster of a blink. Alright. Hero studying those MaxPax games. If MaxPax would be watching this right now, he's cringing so hard. Yeah. He probably cringed first over my my video introduction. And then secondly over that micro. Like, that was... Yikes. Laying right into the arms of GuMiho. Yeah, sometimes split firing with your units works really well, but... There's a reason why we don't normally see it. And then suddenly, this game is looking really good once again for GuMiho. Dark Shrine on the back of this, by the way, so it's 2-base DT. Prism. Yeah, Prism is going to be dead again. I don't love the micro here from Hero, if I'm being honest. Nice control, of course, by Gumi. These last couple of minutes have been very favorable for our Terran, who is now getting to the point where he will start outgrowing Protoss quite rapidly. He should have detection at home as well. Yep, there we go. Missile turret coming up. And as long as he doesn't really move down too far away from the ramp, he should be fine. So this is, yeah, that moment where GuMiho is going to take the income lead. Thing is, third command center is mostly done here. There's still no nexus. Scan reveals this too. That's an expensive scan. When he sees the Dark Templar, maybe GuMiho will have wished that he decided to keep that scan energy on the command center for the time being. Full wall off right now at the front too, just to make matters even worse for Hero. There is a Viking. This is War Prism number 3. These legends are gonna have to get a lot of work done. Yeah. These Dark Templar are gonna have to achieve something. Okay, he's gonna be able to at least escape with 2 of them. Maybe the 3rd, yeah. One of them has fallen so far. You know what? This is still manageable. As we all know, Terrans never make Ravens. Actually, if anybody would make a Raven, GuMiho would. Goes for a reactor again. He's got another scan just about to finish up. Okay. Gets 2 of them with 1 scan. That's pretty good. Yeah, okay. So, that was it. Now we're gonna run ourselves to our death. Right over here at the front of the Terran base. Zealots charging into a supply depot. Yeah, Hero knows where this is gonna go. So he knows he needs to get something done. Third Nexus was built during all of this. I mean, he can definitely stay alive. I'm assuming GuMiho is gonna start moving around the map here too, but this is not actually the end of the world. It's been quite desperate here for Hero for a while now, but it's actually... It's a playable spot, I think. Just difficult here for Protoss to, like, for example, tech up towards Colossus or anything else. Upgrades even do feel really pricey, but... At the very least, Hero is gonna be able to try and maybe put all of his eggs in one basket another time. He's already been trying that. In the meantime, though, GuMiho can do whatever he likes. Armory coming up. Second engineering bay researching right now. Or building, I guess. He'll be going for the +2 infantry attacks in a moment. We'll probably see a Ghost transition here in a moment, too. I wouldn't mind seeing a Ghost Academy coming up right about right now. If you're gonna go for an armory, I would imagine that you're also feeling like you might need to play a bit of a longer game. So therefore a Ghost Academy would make a lot of sense. This is still a scary Protoss ball though. Yeah, don't underestimate these Protoss units. With some good force fields, everything's possible. Those Immortals really try to get into the battle as well. Stalker's blinking after all of this. Guardian Shield? Okay. Where's the rest of the Terran army? We don't actually have that many units. At some point, GuMiho will run out of space to run into. That is the difference in supply right there, by the way. Those SCVs pulled away from their mineral lines. Oh, big warp in. Really big warp in. Gets the prism. He gets the prism before the warp in completes. And that may honestly be his saving grace in the end. Huh. Hero very close to flipping this game upside down again. It's not over yet. Obviously, a lot of SCVs were killed during all of that. Hero knows that the worker advantage is still not really that great for him. As a matter of fact, he's 7 workers behind his opponent right now. But I also believe Hero thought he lost this game about 6 minutes ago. And he's been trying his best. He's getting so much value. Oh my god, another Zealot sandwich. Prism number 69 shows up. We've had a lot of prisms this game. Let me have a quick little peek. Yeah, 4 prisms have died. This is prism number 5. Ay, ay, ay. These bio units are actually super low in hit points. Ultimately, GuMiho manages to get it done. I don't see a way back into this. He's going to scan that base at the bottom. He knows that this expansion is likely not taken either. He just secured his 4th base. But GuMiho has had to fight for it. Yeah. And ultimately, honestly, I think the main reason why we're in this situation is because Hero decided to micro it in a slightly questionable way. When those first Stalkers blinked into the base, that's when life got really difficult for the Protoss player. So even though this is, well, I'm pretty much 99% certain this is going to be a loss right here for our Protoss player. I'm actually still liking his chances in this series quite a bit. Those mistakes are very quickly made. And he's been playing some impressive StarCraft. Besides all of that, he's got to continue fighting though. I mean, I think GuMiho, he's been scanning the armies and the bases of the opponent quite a few times already. I think GuMiho has got a pretty significant misread of how this game is actually going. I've got a feeling he could have gone across the map a couple times already to just go and win. But he doesn't really know exactly how much there truly is. Prism number 5? Okay. Sure, get that one too. So this is half of the Terran army, and Hero can't fight it. There's an entire second army down south. Yeah, I think a bit of a misread right here from GuMiho. Probably assuming that when that 4-gate Blink Stalker army came across, that Hero planted down a 3rd Nexus, but he didn't. He didn't do it until a little bit later. Another Nexus attempted here at the 6 o'clock too. I mean, Hero is still fighting. Okay. All-in wave number 5? Maybe 6? You know what? I would say we need another prism, but so far the life of a prism has not been very precious to Hero. Instead, we're going to be warping in units over here, and we're going to be, yeah, wandering them across the map, slowly but surely. GuMiho doubling his opponent's supply pretty much. Still tiptoeing around his own bases. There's no detection right here against Widow Mines. He's decided to drop inside of the opponent's main base to really... to really slow this down as much as he can. GuMiho, I don't think you need to do all of this, man. I'm pretty sure what you do is you hit the all army hotkey and you stim. I'm pretty sure that's what you do. Lifting the command center and all that makes this look very dramatic. And I will give you extra bonus points for dramatic effect. But Hero is super dead. Super duper dead. GG. Alrighty. Next up, we find ourselves on good old Oceanborn. If anybody was gonna bring it back, I think Hero would have been the one. And he certainly had GuMiho believing right there for just a moment that there was a way back for the Protoss. But GuMiho just kept on playing, kept on macroing, kept on getting upgrades, and eventually he outgrew the Protoss very heavily. But even GuMiho started believing there for a second that he was actually losing the game. Alrighty, game number 2, we're gonna go for a proxy Rex, it looks like. Bit of a cheeky position. Right outside of the main base of our Protoss, who's decided to go for a wall off over here on the high ground. Fair enough. Gateway's building. We'll see this completed here with a cybernetics core in just a moment. GuMiho, of course, definitely a fan of playing Terran mech, but he usually only does that against Zerg. Or against Terran. We've seen him play it a lot against Terran too lately. Not so much against Protoss. One of the original intentions behind the Cyclone change when they first started overhauling that unit was to make Terran mech more viable against Protoss. And maybe there will be a moment where that is going to be a viable strategy, but in the current meta, not really considered to be that great. Maybe as an opener, Cyclones can be quite strong early on. Oh! Okay, well that is not what I expected. Are we gonna go Tech Lab as well? Yes! Oh, let's go, Gumi. Okay, so he just flew that barracks into the opponent's main. And he's gonna produce Marauders from the inside out. I was gonna say, you can't really achieve much here with Reapers, so I thought it was just like a little bit of rock, paper, scissors here from Gumi. Thinking that maybe his opponent could have walled over there, or even the... whatever. Apparently this is not the case. No, he's just gonna make Marauders inside of the opponent's main. Honestly, this has the potential of straight up winning the game, especially when you go for 2. Although I don't think that would fit right here on Oceanborn. Anyways, this is one of those situations that you rarely come across as Protoss. Hellion coming up right now. Hero's been looking around the map, trying to figure out where that barracks is located, but he still has not seen it. Dude, there's one little dark spot in your main base, Hero. And that's exactly where Terran has got a little bit of infrastructure. Okay. Marauders number 2 coming up. Yeah, we've got ourselves concussive shells researching. This could certainly be a quick one. I think he's gonna commit right now? Really, we're gonna save up a third? He's faking an SCV command center too here. I mean, he will probably make one, but it is not ready to go just yet. Okay, now we commit. Wow, that was the worst first shot you could have had. Second shot and third shot also pretty atrocious. Now what he's done here, yeah, he's created a nice little alleyway for, you know, the Marauders to come and hang out into. That was actually really bad though by Gumi. I don't think he really needed to target like that. Stop hitting the gas, dude. Recall being used right now on the Adepts, fair enough. We do have one Hellion over here, not target firing anything. Marauders need to back up. Yeah, shimmy back a little bit more. Rally point right there of that Marauder, not quite where I would have liked it to be. In the meantime, though, the Hellions are gonna go to town. Oh, and they're looking for the juicy shot. Okay, and ultimately they get a lot of damage in. There's the Oracle. A little too late, I would say. That looked like it was manageable there for Hero, but ultimately, even though it wasn't quite the perfect execution that we were maybe hoping for, GuMiho is still, well, I mean, if you can produce 3 Marauders instead of your opponent's main base without seeing it, that turns out to be pretty good, yeah. Maybe not the perfect execution, but good enough. And ultimately, that's what you're going for. Proby is right there as well, man. Just looking at that thing and just, well, using its tasers. Hero now has less workers than he started the game off with. I want to believe, but there's already 2 Cyclones waiting on the other side of the map. Cyclone 3 and 4 are just about to be available too. Yeah, Hero, you're very dead, man. I mean, that's what I said at minute 6 of game 1. And it turns out it was true, but that match ended up taking another 10 minutes. Not the case, though, this time around. Alrighty. Oh, actually, there you go. I set up the scoreboard all wrong. It's a 2-0 advantage right now for the Gumi God. That means that GuMiho has got 3 shots at winning. I mean, it is going to be very difficult for Hero to win against, for example, 3 cheeses in a row, right? It would be nearly impossible, really. So what went wrong right there for Hero? Honestly, not really that much. It was just one of those situations where he didn't quite check every corner of the base. Because it's such an uncommon strategy, though. I can't really blame him too much. I haven't seen that strategy in ages. So the fact that Hero went up against it and lost against it, it's kind of unfortunate. Plus, game number 1, Hero did actually play quite well after that disaster of a blink. I think it's okay. I actually think this is a playable series here for Hero. Even though the scoreboard would make you believe otherwise. I wasn't too impressed by the micro of GuMiho, for example, in that second game we just had a look at. The Marauder control was eh. The Hellion control was eh. The micro at home was decent. Like, all of it was okay. It was good enough, clearly. But it wasn't razor sharp. Let's see. We're really putting in a lot of effort on that probe micro. A little bit of stutter stepping on the melee unit. Of course, though. Well played, of course, by Gumi. But I don't think Hero should be too demoralized. Even though he's 2-0 behind. Oh, hello. Okay. Thought for a second GuMiho was going to prove me here for a little bit. He's like, yeah, Loko. No, you're right, you're right. Okay. I think you go Twilight Council every time. Because that seems to be what Hero is most comfortable with. Although he could definitely go for a Stargate Open or 2. I don't think that would be a disaster. Probe wants to see what's up. Reaper, though, not sent straight across the map. Yeah, this time around, I guess just by seeing those units, Hero knows that he is mostly okay. And there is indeed the good old Twilight Council. Should be Blink first every single time. Could technically be Glaives. Could technically be Charge. But it should be Blink every single time here. Could be Dark Templar. I mean, it could be many things. He could also make the structure and then never use it. Although I find that to be the least likely option. But hey, it could be. If we're talking about all the options, I just wanted to make sure that I've got all my bases covered. Speaking of having your bases covered, though, GuMiho. Oh, great segue, Loko. Well done. Shutting down those adepts before they get into the main base. Yeah. Every now and then, huh? All right, anyways, let's see. There's the good old Blink. Now the Cyclone is available. Should be able to push everything back relatively easily. Okay. Now the question is, how many gateways do you produce here as Hero? Yeah, do you just go for 2? Do you go for 4? Do you feel like you want to do the middle of the road thing where you make 3 gateways? I feel like 3 gateways is, That's how I feel about it. It's good. But you can expand off of just 2 gateways. And if you want to be aggressive, you should probably make 4. I feel like 3 gateways is kind of like, I can't make up my mind. I need to, like, make a decision. I guess I'll do 3 and then make an expansion. That always seems like a non-committed play. Even though we see it very frequently and it is very strong overall. Yeah. I think two of these gateways straight into a 3rd nexus. Get a little bit of confidence. All right. There's the tech lab researching the Stimpack research. And then, of course, we also get the +1. It is a double Rex opener for the time being. So that does mean that Combat Shields is going to be quite a ways behind. And it also means that GuMiho is not going to be able to achieve all too much here for at least a little bit. Now, of course, we are going to have those Medivacs out. And as soon as the Medivacs are out, GuMiho, again, he will just put whatever he's got inside of the plane. And we're going to start flying around. Terran units, of course, they are used to the finer things in life, as they can only ever have 8 of them inside of a plane. Yeah. If they're more sophisticated than Marines, they can go for even less inside of the Medivacs. It's insane, dude. Terran units actually always, like Terran players too, that's what I've heard, they always fly private. Yeah, they're like the Taylor Swifts of the StarCraft world. It's beautiful. Okay, let's see. Well, not that one. That SCV ended up going down after chilling on the watchtower for a little bit too long. Robo Bay coming up. Twilight Council into charge. Pretty passive opener, of course, here by Hero, who now sees the Medivacs coming in. Okay. Now we only have 2, gateways, so these Marines actually do pack quite the punch. Hero did see it coming in before the medevacs unloaded, but it's still... you just don't have a ton of units, right? You have to be in position at the right time. And even though he did see it, he would have liked seeing it a little earlier than that. GuMiho losing pretty much everything here in the process. Splitting off the medevacs here. You know that little game? That scamming game where you have the ball underneath the 3 cups and you have to guess where the... That's the same game they played over here. Which medevac is full? You never know. You shuffle the medevacs together and one of them goes to the left, the other one goes to the right. Turns out GuMiho this time around ended up getting out with the medevac full of units. Okay. We've got ourselves the Colossus here into the ranged Colossus too. So a pretty passive early game here from Hero. It works, but it is difficult when you do take a bit of a beating like that. Now he lost 8 probes. He still has the economical lead as far as the worker count goes. Always a dangerous defense though because of that push. Yeah, the Colossus is not just standing on the edge of the base yet, but it has arrived. Extended thermal lens are not easy cleanup right here for Hero. Still though, his entire army is about 6 units. So he needs to be cautious with where he's positioning his army, but... looks like, for now, GuMiho will be deflected. Third command center finishing up. Do we have an armory yet? We should have an armory. We do not. Armory, second NG bay. Yeah. That's actually unfortunate. Yeah. That really takes the wind out of your sails, though, because it's not like GuMiho's attacks have been monumentally successful, but he had a nice little bit of tempo going. Now he shot himself in his foot here by not, getting that armory going quicker. You really are reliant on those upgrades, and even just delaying the +2/+2 by like what 30 seconds, it adds up very rapidly over the course of a game. It's gonna give Hero more time to breathe, which is exactly what he's aiming for here. That's exactly what he's hoping for. I was trying to combine the word aiming and hoping at the same time. I made a new word, aiming. Hoping could also be, yeah. Anyways. Aping? There's the +2 eventually started, but then it's quite delayed. Okay. 4th Nexus, building at the 3 o'clock position. Hero playing a very passive game, especially for Hero's sake. Not really looking to be in the face of his opponent all too much. Yeah, after game 1 and 2, apparently he's cowering in fear now. You never know when those barracks come floating in. Ghost Academy here around the same time as the Dark Shrine. Nexus does finish up. 4th Command Center here for Terran, a little bit behind, but that is of course the nature of things. And this is one of those attacks where like 2-2 is kind of supposed to almost be done. And now it's not. So let's see. Awkward fight here though. Yeah. The Protoss units trying to see if they can shoot some lasers here, but this is one of those locations where Terran has to run in single file. Why are we even standing over there, Gumi? There's nothing to gain here, man. Terran units are too heavy to walk on the glass. Yeah, they're terrified of heights. You know, whenever like skyscrapers have those glass floors, Protoss can not stand on that. Zergs and Terrans alike, they have no option. All right, Ghost Academy though is done, and ghosts are hitting the battlefield. That will come in very handy. Well, maybe Terran players are scared of heights. Scared of glass at the very least. They're not scared of ghosts. Big fan of them. Blinky Boy upgrade coming up as well for the Dark Templar right now. Shadow Stride. Gonna keep my camera over here though at the main armies. Yeah. He's trying to find an angle, but the siege tank clump over here is very nice. Difficult one to get to right here. They are capable of dealing a lot of splash damage. I actually really like the siege tank setup here from Gumi. The zoning is excellent. He is gonna unsiege 2 of them and move them on over towards the left side as a planetary fortress is now attempted in that part of the map. 3-3 starts up. We have 8 Dark Templar being morphed in. Okay. They have 1 mission and 1 mission only. They are gonna be trying to snipe a planetary fortress. They don't even know what a planetary fortress is. They were literally just born. I actually don't know how Protoss technology works. They were just warped in, which is basically the same as birth. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I got warped in as well, once upon a time. A long time ago. Alright, let's see. Good luck. Yeah, we can scan, so you can see the ghosts. I mean, they were basically ghosts, because they were invisible. So, that was an effective job right there, though, for Hero. Using his main army to distract the Terran on the right side and ultimately allowing the invisible men to get some work done. Yeah, now we're gonna go for a missile turret. Well, he's thinking about going and jumping the siege tanks. Dangerous decision. This fight over here is very awkward. Terran coming in from the flank as well. Colossi quite exposed. All of the heavy hitters here for Protoss are gone. But at the same time, GuMiho's army just disappeared. Yeah, just like that. GG is cold. Hero, in the meantime, did secure the golden minerals too. And that is now allowing him a massive economical advantage. Alrighty. Next up, Ghost River. Well-controlled game just now by Hero. Showing us that he is capable of getting it done. Playing a very passive early game. Absorbing a lot of damage. And then ultimately overwhelming the opponent a little bit later. For GuMiho's sake, though, that was a relatively normal game, right? Nothing all too cheesy, nothing all too aggressive. Let's see what he can bring right here on Ghost River. This is, of course, a map with a very quick rush distance. Okay. I was gonna say, thought for a second we weren't getting a gas geyser yet, but that would be a little ridiculous. Hero is going to be going across the map, and you will see that there will be a barracks on top of the high ground, which is always nice. Although on a map like this, I think it's like a 29-second rush distance from natural to natural. It's really quite fast. I'm going to have a quick little peek and see what the win-loss ratio on this particular map is for the Terran versus Protoss matchup at the tournament level, because in my mind it's quite even. Yeah, so for Protoss versus Terran on Ghost River, 85 tournament games have been logged so far. And it's 49% in... Well, I guess it's in favor of Terran by 51%. Yeah, 49.4% of games are won by Protoss. So it's about 50-50. Far fewer Zerg games actually have been locked on this map so far. So we have... Or logged. There you go. We have only 48 games of Zerg versus Protoss. Only 29 games of Terran versus Zerg. Which is funny because they're also actually pretty close to 50%. Because the sample sizes are so small, it's difficult to really draw any conclusions. I guess it's just a difficult map for Zerg. Seems like all of the maps are pretty good for Terran though, at the moment. If you look at the win-loss ratios, Terran's not doing all too poorly. You know what, though? I think, especially since how strange the maps have been over the last year or so, and really like the current ongoing season, the maps are very weird compared to what we've always had. The maps are still surprisingly balanced. I think the worst one right now is Dynasty. Last time I checked, Dynasty for Terran versus Zerg had a 80% win rate in favor of Terran. Now that is a horrible win-loss ratio. I think as long as it's like no more than like, I don't know, 55-45% or so, it's okay. Some maps being a little bit better for Terran, other maps maybe a little bit worse, whatever. 80-20 is a little suboptimal. Anyway, it's gonna be a Stargate opener here again for Hero. They've been dancing in the middle of the map. Getting a kill on any of these units would be nice. For both players, of course. I don't know why GuMiho is this far out here, though. Yeah, he kills one of the Adepts. He's gonna lose the Hellion now in the process, too. I don't love that. You're never really gonna win that fight. I think one Adept is basically the best case scenario. Okay. It'll be Phoenixes here for Hero. Okay. I find Phoenix openers always... I mean, I like them, so it's Phoenixes after an Oracle. I think Phoenixes are good. It's just always so flimsy. Very easy to miscontrol and accidentally lose the game with, but let's see. How much anti-air do we currently have? Not a whole lot, actually. Ooh, GuMiho is loading up all of his units inside of the medevac again. He has a bit of a misread. He doesn't know what sort of tech there is. Now he's gonna see the Oracle. He was ready to cast Revelation. I think the Oracle could actually just go in and deal a lot of damage. And there's barely anything. Lift the depots, lift the depots! We did not lift the depots in time, and that now means that these units get in the meantime, though, on the other side of the map. This is a very cursed-looking Cyclone, but it's because it's lifted right on top of a medevac. Looks a little strange. None of these Terran units are gonna go home, and in the meantime... Well, how is this fight going for our Terran player on the other side of the map? An absolute disaster. Okay. That moment where you try to outsmart each other, and you end up showing up in the opponent's main base. You find out that they have just sent all of their units towards your base as well. It's a weird moment, but this time around it worked out heavily in favor of the Protoss. Yeah, only losing a very small amount of stuff, actually. 8 probes is very recoverable. Okay. GG. Immediately. He sees all of the units swooping in. He realizes there's no way he's gonna fight it. So Hero gets another point on the board. Alrighty, and just like that, we find ourselves on Crimson Court. Our Protoss player, who not that long ago was 2-0 behind, is looking to complete the reverse sweep, as he now starts off the game by sending a probe straight across. Okay. I'm a little surprised that GuMiho is just going for these relatively normal looking builds now. I mean, I know that's what he likes to do, but is it really the most effective way to win against, well, at the very least, the best Protoss from Korea? I wouldn't have minded seeing him cheese at least once in these 3 games, but for now, just a pretty normal one. Game number 2 just seemed so effective. Just a quick scout, by the way, from Hero, even though that probe sent straight across the map right at the very beginning of the game. It is just to make sure that he sees everything. He would see a probe or a Terran probe, an SCV leave early on. Even though it can be a little bit costly, he's also being a jerk over on the other side of the map, and that's justifying some of this early scout timing. Okay. Should be a Reaper first here for Gumi. Should be a Cyber Core into a Nexus at about 20 supply here for Hero. Quite a similar opener, actually, for Protoss against Terran, as you would for Protoss versus Zerg. Main difference being the timing right there of the Cyber Core. So usually against Zerg, other than, you know, the positioning of the structures, I guess. But normally you save up, you cut workers at 20 for a little bit. Normally against Zerg, if it's a hatch first, you go for the Nexus at 20 supply and then a Cyber Core at 20. Against Terran, you go for the Cyber Core at 20 and then a Nexus. Little bit of a deviation. Obviously, there are some minute differences as far as those early games go, too. But let's see. This all lines up very well right here for Protoss. It was not, by the way, a Reaper first. It decided to be straight up into a Marine, and that means that GuMiho is going to be very blind. He's just going to be chilling. He's going to be sitting back. He's going to try his very best to just predict what it will be right here from Hero. Well, it turns out it's going to be a Twilight Council opener. It does make sense on this particular map, but there are certainly some proxy locations that are really dangerous. That was a little bit difficult to reach because you have to go through those golden minerals, but there are a lot of spots that are not entirely accounted for right now here for Gumi. And the night is dark and full of Protoss. Always a scary time. So, that means you have to play units here and a strategy that is going to be pretty good against everything. You have to be very capable of defending whatever it is the Protoss is going to throw at you. Main advantage, of course, of not really scouting anything and not really going for a Reaper early on is that whatever attack you do have planned, it's going to hit a little bit harder. Because you've been producing units since a little earlier too, and you didn't really waste any resources on lost mining time. Okay. Little Proby is here. Hard at work. Making sure that this little mineral wall is going to be mined out. We'll have to see exactly what the plan is. I don't believe he's really got any crazy goals, but it's just going to be Blink. Yeah, I think it's just for a pylon. Pylons now with the new multiplayer balance patch do have some additional vision range. One of the most insignificant buffs I've ever seen in my life. But hey, more vision range is always nice. Should be able to see any sort of med effect that comes in. A little easier. Okay. 3 SCVs right there for an Adept is not bad. Would prefer not seeing this Adept die though, if I have any say in the matter. Third Nexus comes up nice and early, once again off of just 2 gateways. Okay, so a very passive game to start off this final match of the series. We're not really doing anything too aggressive. Not really committing to any crazy timing attacks. GuMiho apparently hitting a little bit of a supply block. But Terran has that magical ability to drop a supply depot out of the high heavens. Why does Terran get that? I don't know. I've never known why. It is interesting how one of those core mechanics actually is just... It's only there for Terran. It's not there for Protoss and Zerg. Doesn't matter that much, but it is interesting. Rarely comes into play, but... Little supply depot head grown right here for the Gumi God. Not usually very applicable at the pro level. But wouldn't be a terrible idea, I guess, if Zerg and Protoss on the ladder had maybe like a similar mechanic. Interestingly enough, though, apparently supply depots do take, I think, 3 seconds longer than both Overlords as well as Pylons. So, Pylons and Overlords have the same amount of time to produce. For some reason, depots are a little bit longer. Now Stimpec is done, though. Yeah, we've had a little bit of a peaceful early game. There's no more time for peace. It'll come down to the next couple minutes here on whether or not Hero is going to be able to complete the sweep. And okay, he does have Blink available once again. Shield battery here over at the natural expansion 2 is going to come in very handy. Siege tank, ooh, decides to siege up over there. Thought for a second Hero was going to try and jump it. He did bring a few SCVs into the mix too, but nice sniping right there by Hero. Shuts them down. It's important here for Terran to get this done relatively quickly because charge is on the horizon. And as soon as charge finishes, this is going to be much easier to defend here for Hero. That being said, though, economy here for Protoss is nothing really to write home about. Sure, he does have a third Nexus. Okay, he decides to commit. Battery overcharge has been used immediately. Immortal's trying to get on top of the siege tanks. One siege tank goes down, second siege tank not too far behind. He wanted to fight here before the bunker's finished. Okay, shield battery overcharge is so good. I love that shield battery positioning over there, actually. Hero shuts down another one of the tanks. The last one will also end up going down. Cyclone falls in the process. And just like that, GuMiho gets deflected. Double Forge on the back it is immediately for Hero. He goes for the Warp Prism too. I think he's gonna test. He's gonna try and see if he can potentially just win the game. This is way too ambitious, GuMiho. Going for a third command center on location? I've got a feeling... Oh my god, yeah, this actual distraction here is also really quite nice. Immortals now? Don't think they're quite, I don't think that those Marines are gonna be able to destroy the Immortals. It's indeed Hero who completes the reverse sweep. After falling behind 2-0 earlier on, he wins this match. And with it, the ESL Open Cup 3-2.